Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline live in studio. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 everywhere in the Pittsburgh area, including Nemacolin. Zach Brenner was traveling out there, so he's been contacting everybody in Nemacolin, including Bobby Watton. So shout out to all you guys out that way. We're only on Comcast 7 in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us here every time we're on, and we're on Tuesday through Saturday night, 7 o'clock to 8. This is our live show, so we appreciate it. We're on YouTube 24/7. You can check us out, all of our shows. And we're going to start our show with What's on Our Mind. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. We got Chip the Prophet Hayner, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Zach Brenner, soon to be the Amish Assassin. They're working on that hat. And they already got a Lincoln hat, so they're going to try to adjust that so it'll be like the Amish hat. But they're working on it. Don't you worry about it. And we're going to start our show with what we usually do. Oh, first I got to make an announcement. This is the second week in a row. Everybody was here on time. John the Tiger, Devin Shea, Zach Brenner, Smoking Jim Frazier had time to go to 2 bathrooms. Chip Hayner and myself. Zach Brenner, what's on your mind?
Well, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, I got a little gift today from 2 of the Steelers running backs. Smoking Jim Frazier, do you know what that is?
No.
Nah, I'm just kidding. This is a shutoff valve, half-inch shutoff valve, ball valve, folks. Call Brenner Contracting. This isn't an apparatus for
special
the Doobie
announcement.
Brothers.
If you need a shutoff valve, Brenner's in the neighborhood right now. Call in 412-831-3304. If you need a valve, he has it right here.
Right here, folks. Lead-free, too, by the way. What's on my mind, what's really on my mind, folks, is I'm really confused on how Landry Jones is still in the National Football League on a 53-man roster. It's very perplexing to me how a guy from Oklahoma who put up bigger numbers than the weak-kneed guy from the St. Louis Rams is still in this league whenever he can't even barely run the first-team offense when in a game where it was meaningless, but he still had the opportunity to make some plays happen, and he was just abysmal to me out there, and he just looks lost like a deer in the headlights. And there was guys out there, wide receivers, battling for positions, trying to make the team, and, don't depend on Landry Jones to get you the ball in the clutch to make the roster. And then finally, I just want to give a shout-out to the St. Louis Rams, who unknowingly brought so much publicity and notoriety, per se, to their organization when they drafted Michael Samms, only to cut him and not even put him on the practice squad. Sometimes there's throwaway picks in this league, and I guess that's a throwaway pick, like Landry Jones to the Steelers. So Michael Samms is a throwaway pick to the St. Louis Rams, and that's what's on my mind, folks.
Thanks, Zach Brenner. Appreciate your insights, and I see you've been reading the dictionary, so you threw out a couple nice words there.
Thanks.
It was not an abysmal start either. Thank you. Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. Oh, that was the underhand option. That's from my old option quarterback days back in the day.
Never heard that story. Maybe we can get some fiction and fact from Smoking
Now the
Jim.
D lineman's on the
Need more fiction than fact.
Yeah, man, you run that option, man. You come down that
you're light
line,
on your
man.
feet.
You
That was
gotta,
those 225 days.
in practice, they used to
toes.
push that back.
Twinkle
But
toes.
in the game, I always kept it. Defensive end always been on the running back, I told the coach. But hey, this is Angel Shapino's resume right here. So it looks pretty good. Wish her picture was with it. But what's on my mind is I never thought I would say this. Listen, I said on draft day that in my opinion, there's no place in the NFL for an openly gay player. And I said that my dream was always to shower every day with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. And if I couldn't live out my dream, Michael Sam shouldn't be able to live out his dream by showering with the St. Louis Rams. However, if you are going to give Michael Samms an opportunity to play in the National Football League, I think he should have had a fair chance to earn the right to play. The guy outperformed everybody, including my expectations. He couldn't have played any better. This is a kid that is not an outside linebacker. He's a defensive end in the 4-3 defense. And I tell you what, he has some of the best pass rushing moves I've ever seen. He led the team in sacks with 4 sacks. He led them in preseason with
3 sacks.
One was called back. I still count it. But he had 2 sacks against Manziel. He led the team in tackles in the last game. And I tell you what, I think it was very unfair. This is a guy like Al Levine, the talking machine, was talking before the show, was the SEC defensive MVP. No SEC defensive MVP has ever been drafted past the 3rd round. He was a 7th round throwaway pick. This is a guy who played in the SEC where 7 out of the 7 years in a row, the SEC won a national championship, so it's the best conference in the world. And if you're going to give him an opportunity, I said before that he should have took that money and that reality TV money that Oprah Winfrey had offered, because it had done 2 things. One, it had been like Hard Knocks. You had cameras around all the time. 2, he got some money for it. And 3, it would have showed him dominating not only in practice, but in the games. And now he would have had a whole nation that would have seen that this guy should have made that football team. Disappointed, real disappointed. It's not the first time I'm disappointed in Jeff Fisher, but I'm disappointed in Jeff Fisher, disappointed in the St. Louis Rams organization, and I'm disappointed in the National Football League. I tell you what, this is a guy, I'm going to let you tell, this guy does something on a pass rushing move I've never seen before in my life. From the left defensive end position, this guy can speed rush you up the field. He does something, and I went back and watched all his college films. He wore number 52 in college. I completely missed this because I was evaluating him as a linebacker, and being that he was a step faster than Jarvis Too Slow Jones, he was still too slow to play linebacker in the National Football League. But he does something. You guys go back and watch films, and Chip said Dallas Cowboys may pick him up. They're going to get somebody good here. This guy can get up the field. He extends his hands, Al Levine, the talking machine. So now the right offensive tackle has to go and punch block. But as soon as he goes, he subtracts his hands back.
Whoa.
Right? I've never seen this before, right? And
so it's like
now,
a shiver, but it's not.
But no, here's the trick. So now when the guy goes to punch again, Michael Sams is close enough to him, and he gets around him. I mean, it is so smooth. And this is his signature move, and he cannot be stopped on his block. Just ask, Johnny Football Manziel. But hey, Michael Sams, you should be in the National Football League. National Football League, you should be ashamed of yourself, because this guy has shown national TV and national audience. Those 2 sacks he had against Johnny Manziel was on Monday Night Football, and he showed that he can play in the National Football League, and it's a shame to draft a guy only to cut him. He earned the right to make that football squad.
Wow, Smoking Jim, we'll have to revisit that, because if people only listen to your start of that, we'd get calls not from anybody else but the FCC and certain organizations. So I don't know how you cover your behind like that, but you do an excellent job of that. I was ready to throw the disclaimer out. Now I have to give a disclaimer because I got cavities.
I was shocked.
It was so sweet that I think you just wore through my.
Because he said he was
We'll revisit. Yeah. We'll revisit.
Yeah.
Chip
Good
the
enough
Prophet.
for the shower, but
We'll get it. We'll get through it. I lost 3 teeth in the fillings. Chip the Prophet Hayner, what's on your mind?
Smoking Jim, I got to agree with you. The NFL, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for a completely different reason. Okay?
No
that
kidding.
reason would be
No kidding.
the Lord himself, Roger Goodell. Okay? Now, let's just follow my train of thought here. So, Roger Goodell last week admits that he made a mistake when he handed down the punishment on Ray Rice for knocking his now wife unconscious on videotape. And he said, I made a mistake by suspending him for 2 games. So he's going to come down with a new, tougher standard for people that are involved in domestic violence. And again, Roger Goodell seems to think that he really brought the hammer down hard, but once again, he missed the mark. Okay? So his new policy states that if you get, domestic violence first time.
Even sexual assault now he put in.
First offense, 6-game suspension. Sounds pretty good, Second offense, banishment for life, but you could apply for reinstatement a year later. Now, that only begs the question is, okay, at what point is a person suspended for 6 games or any kind of punishment meted out? Well, we had to wait a full 3 days before some meathead who plays for the San Francisco 49ers, Ray McDonald, beats up his girlfriend. And not only did he beat up his girlfriend, and there's evidence of the abuse that she took, she's pregnant.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So now what do? We sit here and we wait and we twiddle our thumbs. And when is justice going to be meted out? We don't know, because he left this so vague. Now, personally, myself, I've got a way that I would have set up the punishment, because this is not something that the players union got a chance to collectively bargain. This is Roger Goodell, demonstrating his power that's in the collective bargaining agreement. But so now, do we wait until he is either convicted or not convicted? Or do we wait until charges are officially filed? Or do we wait until he marries his girlfriend and then she can't testify against him, and then no punishment can be meted out against him? See, they left this so vague, and you don't know what's going to happen. See, what I would have done was I'd say, even if charges are brought against you, whether they're valid or not, from the moment that those charges are brought against you, you're suspended without pay until it's adjudicated, and then at that point, further punishment will follow. But no, we're not going to do that, because we really don't care about the justice in the NFL. And I think they're just making a mockery of the whole thing, because the players union and everybody else is going to drag this out. So by the time he gets suspended, it may be the middle of next season. Now that's even, you think about this, 2 games suspension for beating your girlfriend, unconscious on videotape, so they have evidence. Then you get somebody like Le'Veon Bell, who admits that he's under the influence of marijuana when he gets pulled over. He's not going to get suspended. And if he does get some kind of fine or something, it's going to be next year. Then you get the owner of the Indianapolis Colts. Okay? He pleads guilty to a misdemeanor driving under the influence charge. And what do we do to him? We suspend an owner for 6 weeks and fine him $500,000. What are you suspending the owner from? What, he can't come to the stadium? I mean, he can't own the team? Does that mean for 6 weeks he doesn't take the profits from the team and stick it in his pocket? And $500,000, are you kidding me? This guy's a billionaire. So, the justice system in the NFL is a complete joke, and it's a mockery. And that is why the NFL should be embarrassed. But that's what's on my mind.
Can't wait to revisit some of that. I got a couple cure-alls that I posted. How you solve that? So
I don't know, man. What do I know?
well, I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit first.
You can't be the owner for 6 weeks.
We'll discuss that. Don't worry. I know you're itching. I'll keep mine short.
Your key to the executive washroom is gone.
Yeah, the sandbox is getting a little moist over there. You got clumps in there now. So I don't know what you guys
Sorry
are doing.
about that, Al.
Not a problem. That's those guys. They can't let it go. No disclaimers for them. First, I want to thank Marianne at Azazu for the haircut today. I told her I'd shout out to her so she can check that out. Thank you very much. Then I want to thank Bethel Bakery. I ended up meeting John Walsh the other day, and he's going to be a fan of our show. He didn't realize we had a show, and I told him how we brought cupcakes to the show and cakes and everything else. So he's going to check us out. Thanks, John. It was nice meeting you at your establishment. It's legendary. In the North Hills, they love you now. I brought a cake out that way, and a lot of people talk about it. These guys enjoy it, so we'll talk to you then. What's on my mind, the only thing on my mind is the Steelers season is starting up. And I looked at that schedule, front and back, 11-5. I don't even care. There's parity in the league. Guys are disrespecting these professional players. They're all pros. Smoking Jim's a pro. He scouts these pros. How do you get in the NFL? It's rare. Out of all these players, we take it for granted. It's a rarity to be an NFL player. So to me, out of respect for all of that, the tradition of the Steelers in the last 30-plus years, 11-5, I'll make my prediction now. We'll ask for it later on during a segment or, during revisitation. But I'm excited about the season. And we start out with the Browns. I mean, how great is that? Their team was stolen from them. Then they got a team that's like terrible. Then the ownership makes it worse every time they draft somebody. Thank God for Cleveland. Let's start the season.
They're the lovable losers.
And that's what's on my mind.
Not so lovable, Zach.
And I'll start off on the revisitation. I actually have empathy, Zach, for the fans of Cleveland that are true fans. And let's start this revisitation.
They had good baseball in Cleveland. I think we could
For a
agree on that.
while.
Now they got a fire cell going on over there in
Well,
Cleveland.
they usually do.
They
But,
liquidated.
it's a shame because the fire was on the Cuyahoga River.
That's before his time. They cleaned it up now. It's
Is
all
anybody or is anybody surprised that the Pirates didn't make any waiver wire moves?
None. Not surprised at all. And if you think about what was out there, see, the thing about these the waiver claims trades is that people make players available for the waivers. Okay, and a number of different teams will claim them, and based on what your position is, where you're ranked from 1 to 30, depends on who gets first dibs on it. And teams that are either below us will make moves to keep us from getting a certain person, because they'll make a claim on somebody and then they'll just not be able to come to an agreement with them, and so subsequently anybody that we may have wanted may not get. And we did the same thing to some other people. Now, the problem with the Pirates making moves, even at the end of the non-waiver claim, which was July 31st, is that what seemed to happen this year in any team that's made a trade, and I've looked at them all, is that people were looking for major league talent to trade to give you major league talent back. And then nobody was willing to trade major league talent for prospects. What the Pirates have is they have a lot of prospects in their farm system, but what's evidenced by what happened in August is that we don't have a lot of depth at the major league level. Because look what happened when McCutchen went down, Jody Mercer went down, Neil Walker went down.
Couldn't have dumped
We didn't
Marte.
have people to play that. We had a 7-game losing streak. See, so who do we give up on our major league roster to replace with another player? When-
Alvarez, Marte.
Well, see, Alvarez is damaged goods right now. You're not going to get anything for him. Marte is the second hottest hitter on the team since he came back off the injured list from his concussion. He's been a big part of the offense and helped to carry the offense while McCutchen was injured. See, giving up what we have, we wouldn't have got an equivalent back in return. And I'd be honest with you, the team that we have, when they're healthy, they're capable of beating anybody. I mean, they've won of the last 3 series that we played, all Central Division opponents. In Milwaukee, we won 2 or 3. In Pittsburgh, we won 2 or 3 against St. Louis. We won 2 or 3 against Cincinnati. And if we can continue to win 2 out of 3 in the series that we got coming up, we're going to end up in a pretty good place.
So we lost last night. So
We
now
lost
we have to
last
win the
night.
next
We'll
2.
continue this during the Pirate discussion. Somehow the sandbox went off the reservation there. I appreciate the talk because I have some insights on that. And some of it is you don't help your opponents who are sinking to become a winning club. And we'll hold that thought till we get to some Bucko talk.
But to get back to the point with Michael Samms, and I was listening to what Jeff Fisher was saying because he was interviewed at great length about his decision to not put Michael Samms on the 53-man roster, and and he said that he had 4 defensive ends that he felt rated higher than Michael Samms did, and that they used on a regular basis and on a revolving system, and that's why it was a numbers game. I don't know because I didn't watch any of the film. I didn't see what happened. I know he had a game where he had 2 sacks, and it's just he.
Well, here's my problem, and there's no denying that the Rams got one of the greatest defenses in National Football League right now, along with Aaron Donald from Pitt, who's just going to provide another opportunity there. But my problem is this. Chuck Noll told me one time, and his offensive line coach at the time was Hal Hunter. And they told me one time that we do not bring players in who does not have a chance to make this football team. You're drafting Michael Sams. Those guys were there last year. So you're drafting a kid that has no chance of making your football team, and I think that's wrong. I think anybody that you draft should have an opportunity to make your football team. The Rams, the way I look at it, they can use some help on offense. They can use a quarterback. They can use a whole lot of other positions. Why are you wasting a 7th-round draft choice on a guy that's never going to make your football team?
Let me ask you this question, because you would probably know better than I. Was he not the last player selected in the draft?
Well, the Rams had 4 7th-round picks.
None of them
and
made
he
it.
wasn't Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last player that the Rams drafted.
And this is the question that I ask, because I'm a conspiracy theorist. All right. Was he pressured in, were the Rams pressured into drafting him so that the NFL didn't end up with a black eye with no team drafting him, which would have created more negative publicity for the NFL? Because could you imagine the storm that would have come down if he wouldn't have gotten drafted by anybody? Can you imagine how the outroar from that? And I'm just wondering, is that the only reason why he got drafted, just to say that, well, at least he got drafted, he got, knowing that they were going to cut him at the end of the training camp anyhow?
Well, Roger Goodell's not above calling Jeff Fisher and saying, hey, throw me a bone here. Yeah, I agree with that. But I think that Michael Sams could have helped himself out a lot. One, like I said, there's no way I'd have turned down Oprah Winfrey. He went for it, but then
don't you like Oprah Winfrey?
Well, no.
I mean,
she did the ice bucket challenge.
Oh, did she?
Statistically, the St. Louis Rams defense in 2013 was the 31st rated defense in the National Football League.
But their defensive line is tough. Their defensive line is tough.
Okay.
Their defensive Howie Long's son,
Chris. He's a scout.
Yeah, I mean, their defensive
tough.
line is
They're
one
tough.
of the best
Their
around.
total tackles.
Thank goodness for Google.
Yeah.
937.
That was quick. I heard Bing's a little quicker.
St. Louis Rams had
What took you so long?
937 total tackles.
We need a tablet or something.
The Buffalo Bills, who had the most, had 1,300. So that's almost a 400 tackle disparaging.
Your math's pretty good.
They got the fearsome foursome.
Yeah,
there
okay.
on the
All right, well, he said they had one of the top defense.
That's like when somebody's a rookie of the year in the NFL or whatever. They're always rookie of the year.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they get any better unless they're MVP of the league or whatever else.
But here's what
What's his point?
Keep that in mind, John.
Yeah.
But and that's a good point. There's a good point there. I meant the defensive line because that's what we're talking. Me and Chip was talking.
You two were talking pretty intensely
being that
about
you're a
it.
former defensive lineman, I thought you would have caught on to that. But he could have helped himself out because Oprah Winfrey, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Oprah offered him an opportunity to do a reality show, and he went for it. But he took so much heat, maybe because the kiss that he had after he got drafted or whatever, but he wanted to just be a football player. He didn't want it to be a circus. He should have circused it up because it would have been like Hard Knocks. He'd have made a lot of money, and he would have been a national celebrity. And if they'd have tried to cut him after the preseason that he had and not even put him on the practice squad, they'd have been the biggest joke in the
flaw I
National
find in
Football
that
League.
theory is that, because if he decides to bring the cameras in, this isn't something that's sanctioned by the NFL. The St. Louis Rams have the right to say, you know what, you can keep those cameras out of my locker room and stand out there in the hallway because, it's not like Hard Knocks is a deal with the
Yeah, but he's
NFL.
using
Well, just
the
like
school of public
TMZ,
opinion.
just like
That's
TMZ,
what
they know
Smoking
how to
Jim-
get
listen.
around it. They get around.
Well, how did I know?
that stuff. But you're
Smoking
right.
Jim's using public opinion.
I'm just
He's
saying,
going to create a protest because he's like P.T.
I mean,
Barnum.
that would have detracted away from everything that he was trying to accomplish.
He still got cut.
Yeah, he still got
It's a
cut.
bottom line.
And there's
and
no
But the
outrage.
worst part
We
about
are
it is
the only ones
he got
outraged.
cut. He got cut, and he fundamentally deserved to make that roster of
Right.
all the four picks in the 7th
I
round.
can't even believe you're
Sam's
saying
actually
that. You said
deserved
he shouldn't
warrant
even be
to
drafted.
make that
But
roster.
here's the
But
thing.
based on his play.
But he got cut 2 days
I like
ago.
that.
The
correct?
tape doesn't lie.
He got cut 2 days ago.
I like
correct?
that.
Okay. There's 320 jobs on the practice squads for NFL players.
He's
Team-wide.
at the WWE right tonight.
Every team gets 10 practice squad players, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's talking to the Dallas Cowboys, but up to this point, I mean, if he was such a hot prospect, don't you think that people would have been knocking on his door and signing him to their practice
say
squad
he was the greatest.
the minute he
I
became
didn't say
available?
he was the greatest outside pass rusher, since
I mean, I don't think we're looking at a future Joe Green here.
No,
I'm not
but
saying that he doesn't
just
deserve to play in the NFL.
But based on the tape, and you listen to Mike Tomlin every single week saying, "We own the tape. We own the tape." Yeah, we know you own the tape, Mike. But the tape doesn't lie. The tape doesn't
Obviously.
lie. And Michael Sams proved to the nation that he is a worthy football player. Besides what he does on his own time with himself as a human being.
Well, don't they talk
As
about
a
your
football
body of
player-
work as a college player?
As a football
Doesn't that
player,
mean something on why you get drafted?
he
You have a
performed
body
well
of
enough
work.
to make that
But,
roster.
and just to give you another little story about somebody else that got cut more than once and who actually made quite a career for himself.
Not James.
Not
Just,
James
just
Harrison.
retired from the Steelers the other day.
we said it.
James Harrison. He's cut 4 times. And by 4 different teams,
Listen,
and by the Steelers.
well, let's
And
not
look what
compare
happened.
Michael Sams
He
to James
persevered.
Harrison.
He kept
I think he's taller
He
than
got
James
stronger.
Harrison.
He got better. He got meaner, and he became the NFL
Well, here's the
Defensive Player of
problem.
the Year.
Here's the problem with Michael Sams.
He's as soft as Mike Adams.
Here's the problems that Michael Sams made for himself. Like I said, I'm not for openly gay players. Now, Michael Sams is not the first gay player to play in the National Football
Thank
League.
you.
There may be a lot of them. I love women. I've never turned a woman down. But I don't go out and announce that. That's the problem. We were at a boxing match. We were all at a boxing match in Monroeville in God's country at the convention center.
I remember that. It was safe as could
the
be.
Pittsburgh Steelers, football players travel in packs. Nobody knows. There's 7 football players, NFL players came in from Derek Moy to our boy that just made the team, 35.
Ross
Ross
Ventrone.
There's about 7 Steelers come in. All they did was hang out together, high five together, hug together. There's nobody that's looking at that as anything. Nobody looks at that. But when Michael Sams came out and stood away from the team and announced to the world, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And I think that's the problem. Like Tony Dungy says, he would not have it because of the circus and the distraction. And that's the problem that he's running into. He could have helped himself with Oprah. And Oprah might have got
You're
L.
being-
Sharp.
you're making
Oprah
that
got that
point
heavy money.
hammering it.
Oprah got that real heavy money.
Tony
Billions.
Dungy was a bit of a
Billions are
hypocrite
heavy.
with what he said about.
No, I agree with it. I agree with it 100%. Oh, no. Nobody. Honesty is the best policy.
I think we covered this as best we can
Yeah.
with honest men here and hammering home Oprah.
And I think
Get her
that
heavy money.
without getting.
Hey, something real quick though that I want to
Go
touch
ahead.
on real fast.
We still
Not
got
to cut you off.
revisitation.
I am outraged that the Kansas City Chiefs paid their quarterback what they're paying him.
$68 million for 4 years.
You got Ben Roethlisberger. Numbers don't lie. When you got trophies and you got hardware, no matter if you have poor performances in the Super Bowl, you still did enough, man, to win us the games. And but what has Alex Smith done in the National Football League to warrant getting paid more money than Big Ben?
God bless his agent.
He's, what, when they re-sign Ben next year, he will be guaranteed $100 million.
If.
I can guarantee you. They
If.
will. They will. Trust me.
As long as he stays a family man,
He
I'm
will
on the
retire.
record.
He will
I'm on the
retire a
record. Thanks to the Roonies, you saved our franchise
He'll retire a
quarterback.
Steeler.
He now has a personality and a family. I mean, and we'll leave it at that. He's a great quarterback
He's
on the
also
field.
a captain for 2014
Well,
again.
do you notice that that's the first thing? I'm a conspiracy guy. When you tell a guy to get married, have a couple kids, cut your hair, don't be dyeing it anymore, bingo, look what we have here. An upstanding citizen.
Does he
Stay
still
out
ride
of public
motorcycles?
restrooms.
What?
Still ride motorcycles?
No. He doesn't even have one in the garage anymore.
Congratulations to Troy also.
Yeah.
He's be the
Yeah.
only mute captain ever. I don't think he'll say anything. He won't
He
be
looked
giving
like
no
he was
pregame-
pretty fired up in that
pregame
preseason
That
speech.
game
game.
against the Eagles, he was
Yeah.
saying a few things.
they were getting
That's why they made him
But
captain.
here's my problem.
Uh-oh.
Troy deserved it, although he'll never speak. Ben's not a talker, so you got 2 guys that couldn't lead silent prayer that are your team captains. But here's the problem. When did it get vogue in the National Football League to have special team captains? I hate special. Was no such thing in my day as special team captains. Now you got 2.
Yeah.
Squeeze them in golden? You got 2 special team captains?
Well, they're
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 more
a valuable
vocal.
part of the game, though.
If they
And
get
the-
They
They're-
need to get choked out before
That's
every
not-
game.
hey, listen,
Special teams. Who's
the-
listening to them?
when you get the possession battle, like it's a big battle in the National Football League on where you get the ball at. And then Landry Jones' defense, I did go back and watch that game again, and that poor kid, man, I don't think he had a drive that started. You know, he was at the 10, the 5, the 4. He kept getting because of the possession battle. So,
Well-
you know, in the football, special teams is a huge part of
Part
football.
time. It's part time.
Yeah,
it's a part time job.
And then on the kickoff team, it's no time because everybody's kicking the ball out of the end zone
Thank you.
anyhow.
Thank you.
So they've eliminated the run back on the kickoff only. But, you know, just in the defense of Landry Jones, and I don't think he's going to be the next Ben Roethlisberger or Terry Bradshaw or anything like that. But in that
Or
game on
Brady.
Thursday night, you know, he was 14 of 18 for 97 yards. So who he was throwing the ball to, he was completing it. He just wasn't completing it for more than 3 yards a pass.
Good
And what
point.
are they going to do with the gimmick?
Oh,
the
what
third
happened to
third
Hojo?
round gimmick.
What happened to Hojo?
We'll,
He made the
we'll
team.
discuss that on the Steelers segment.
Oh, there's a
Let's
Steelers
finish
segment?
this revisitation.
Well, we don't
'cause
have a sip segment because there's no sips.
How do you know?
Hey, so
You won't let me get to it. How about Goodell? You guys in domestic violence here. Here's how you solve it.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
You ban the guy for sexual assault, domestic violence, right off the bat, because guess what? This is illegal in the country. Okay?
point. Good
This is
point.
part of the thing. You guys are talking about not only moral laws, but legal.
But you're also you
Now,
have the presumption
here's-
of innocence though in this
See,
country.
Now, here's the problem that I have. You're in the public eye. You're held to a higher standard, even if you're a bum. Even if you don't want to be a good person, you're already held to a higher standard. Just like the Amish assassin, when he becomes a boxer, he can't say a lot of these comments that he thinks he can, because he'll be held to a higher standard on how he treats other people. He doesn't know that because a lot of people don't even realize it. So you put us on air, we do have some, you know, credibility here, they think. So you are held to a higher standard. Football players, baseball, whoever you are, millions of people watch you, if not billions. What are you doing out there? You know, from the guys that are the
So the
doobie.
first time you
Whether
get in
they
an
like it
accident,
or not,
you're out of the league.
they're
Hold it.
just
I'm
different.
talking football players that have some problem. They have this rage. I don't understand it. Like there's percentage-wise, you look at the stats. How many are in the NFL? How many guys are beating up fiancés, getting in fights, beating up their wives that are pregnant, and doing this stuff over the years? It's been going on. I don't know why. I'll speculate. This is not America under a law. This is a monopoly that was created by Congress, football. Nobody knows history anymore. You're treated differently because you got something special. Somehow you catch a ball better than I do, throw a ball better than I do. You make millions of dollars. You think you should go by our laws when you're under suspicion of beating up somebody you're
But
with
how
and their
can you
kids?
get? How can you get
Because I'm
suspended
Goodell.
until I'm guilty?
I'm Goodell.
Until I'm found guilty.
Here's what would happen.
My
Here's
peers-
what would happen. You're not in a regular court of law. You're suspended with the right to sue and come back and get all your
Okay.
wages and everything else.
All right.
I didn't ban it,
Okay.
but you should suffer something for what you caused,
But here's
right or wrong.
Here's a problem
That's a point
that's
I
going
wanna
on
see
right
out
now. I believe it, and I can't remember the guy's name, and he was a player whose name I recognize. I don't know if it was Brian Blankenship or somebody like that. They are running against DeMaurice Smith for the head of the union. And he said
Sean Gilbert.
Sean Gilbert, yes, the kid from Aliquippa. He is running against DeMaurice Smith for head of the union. And he said if he's elected, he's going to immediately rip up the collective bargaining agreement. So now what's going to happen is we're going to go through a whole bunch of stuff because, to be honest with you, I think they need to revisit, the way they their drug policy. I think it's a joke. It's laughable. Their domestic abuse policy. It's ridiculous at best. And and giving the commissioner the determination to come up with punishments based on whatever whim, whichever way the wind's blowing. Is not right. But there should be something that's hammered out. But you know what? It'll end up in court, and
Well, here's the bottom
it'll
line
be a
on
mess,
that.
and we won't have any football.
I'm not
to watch.
naive enough to believe that Sean Gilbert or anybody can go in and go like this, rip up that collective bargaining agreement. You cannot. It's actually good. It's in stone. It'd be an unfair labor practice if you did ignore it on either party. This was a compromise. This is labor law. I'm not a lawyer. I did learn it the hard way, hardest knocks in school of the
Well,
streets.
if anybody can do it, because Smith is a lawyer And Sean Gilbert was Prop 48 coming
And
out
here's
of
what this
he was
is.
Prop 48
Yeah, but let
coming
me-
out of El Equipo.
let me explain something
You got
to
a
you.
lawyer here, the guy that never went to class at Pitt.
let me
but
s-
he's going to come in
let
and
me
rip up a
let me
contract.
explain it to
I
you.
agree with you. I
This
agree
is
with
called posturing for the people going to vote for you.
you. Uh-huh.
What
yeah,
you're going to do is get their votes.
You're gonna get their
then you're
vote.
going to say, "Hey guys," and I'm telling you first. You
I
heard
lied.
it today. No, you don't. You didn't misrepresent the facts because you're a lawyer. You never say you lied. You misrepresent the facts maybe because you didn't know.
I tried that one time and got hammered.
I understand somebody gave you advice on that. I don't know what happened there, but that's another story. But anyhow, he'll get in as the elected official. They won't change the CBA until it's expired. Then they'll have numerous talks and a strike to try to get some of this away. And that's what will happen. Just like I predicted when they get the contract. It took a while.
No, but I mean,
Goodell, that's the seriousness
You know,
of it.
Goodell came out and he said, I made a mistake with,
Well, sure
with the
he
Ray
did.
Rice thing. And he did that because of all the heat from the women's group that the NFL
His
is
wife
doing.
and kids were telling him that.
And they're marketing the NFL for women. Okay, there's all a whole line of clothes and their pink uniforms and
mean that
cleats and
lingerie bowl.
everything, and all that stuff. But I think once again, what he did was he missed the mark.
Oh, without a doubt.
and-
You don't put a Band-Aid on an artery that's severed. Domestic violence is not any good
That's a good one.
anywhere.
That's a good one.
That's what happens
Yeah,
here.
amen.
These
That
are
was a-
Band-Aids.
That was a white high
Hey,
five.
man.
Yeah.
There's two sides to every story.
There's three. We're going to get your story, my story, and the
Story.
truth.
But at the end of the day, you in this country that hosts the National Football League, it's America. You are innocent until proven guilty. Why did we have a constitution
Well, I'm
that
going to
they
tell
keep
you,
beating on?
here's another couple things under labor law
And
which
how
you
about
don't
this?
understand.
How about this? So you have a crazy girlfriend. You get drafted in the National Football League, okay? And now you get all these crazy scenarios playing out where it's like, hey, I'm going to make a scene because it's going to hurt your image and it's going to cost you big bucks.
Good
Then
point.
you get blackmail, you get all this stuff. You know,
man. You're
what
an
if what
innocent
if you're on a
babe.
slump? What
Sorry,
if you're on a
folks.
slump? What if you're
He's
having a
innocent.
bad-
He's on to something.
He's innocent, and here's why.
You could always walk away.
You can do that,
Can't
but you're
walk away
also
from no crazy
innocent.
girl.
Why do you have...
Sometimes you have to.
You haven't been in a union, have you?
Yeah, you
There's
can.
rules that you go by. You're presumed guilty when you violate the contract. That's a violation. You're presumed guilty in America. Okay? Just so you know. You don't know this stuff. People are learning tonight. This is an educational process.
But you know what, Zach? And another thing is that Roger Goodell does have the power to hand out whatever he considers
But he's not
justice
God.
He's Goodell.
without charges being filed or being convicted of anything. And Ben Roethlisberger is a perfect example of that. Ben Roethlisberger was never charged with a crime, yet he was suspended.
Why didn't he appeal?
He was fined.
Goodell was right on that one.
No, he wasn't.
He was out of
He was right
control.
on that
No,
one.
he wasn't. Why didn't Ben appeal? Using your logic, and you're a Ben fan, I mean, you'd give him a hug and a kiss right on air if he were here. That's how much you like him personally, let alone how he plays on the field.
and
But why
Antonio
didn't your
Brown.
why didn't your man appeal? If you're right in America
Hey,
here,
I
and you're in America.
Sometimes.
Because he wanted to play football.
Yes. Sometimes.
Now I disagree. You're
you're
saying
wrong.
the law's good,
When you're
but it's
wrong,
bad.
you're
You can't
wrong.
have both sides. Here it is. Look, watch. Right, wrong.
What-
Oh,
you're
right,
comparing
wrong.
an apple to an orange.
No, you
Ben
just did it.
Roethlisberger-
You just did the
Ben
apple and orange.
Roethlisberger was guilty.
Split it.
So that's why he didn't appeal the thing.
That's
But-
it for
I
revisitation.
don't even agree to disagree because I'm using your comments. This is America. You're either guilty or not, and you're innocent at first.
Alan,
You
point-
lost the
You have
case.
the
Point
presumption
taken.
of
Point
of
taken.
right-
Zach, point
Oh,
taken.
your boy Ben is the perfect
right.
example. I rest my case.
Fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Home.
No, Sip Sports Bar. They were closed on Labor Day. None of us were there. We'll be back next week. A lot of great guests coming in. And we won't be there come October. Supposedly the place is sold. And we're in some talks with a few different places right now. We got at least 4 that want to have us there, and a couple more have called up. So stay tuned on what's going on with Sip Sports Bar. Check us out the last few weeks for this month of it, and we'll see what goes on. That's it for Sip Sports Bar. Now we go to Fiction and Fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. I'll try to go quick. We're a little long.
No, we still got 19 minutes and
19
24
minutes.
seconds.
I'll try to go quick.
Depends on what it is.
My fiction, in fact, Smoking Jim's Almanac is real small. Gateway went 0-1 this week.
This is America. You're entitled to your opinion.
Under Coach Terry Smith, Gateway started off 0-2 before they ran the table. So
have no fear. Gateway's here.
That's it. New philosophy, new coaching system takes a little while to implement. But I want to go back down memory lane. You know, a little bit of my career. I started playing football when I was 4, and I think my estimated record was 146 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie up through high school football, which I remember each and every one of those 3 losses and a tie more so than the wins.
Did you fumble once?
but anywho,
Not
brother.
the Penn Hills.
Anywho, but I want to just go back to when I was 13 years old. I remember
Everybody's taking notes.
Yeah, take notes when I was 13.
Hold it. They're going back in
When I was
time.
13 years old, my last year in Midget League football, and I was always blessed
You
to
made
play,
the weight?
to play with outstanding.
You saw your circle back then.
Talent. Outstanding.
Did I do that?
Outstanding talent. And I remember our coach about halfway through the season said that we were ranked either 6th or 8th in the country. And I remember thinking that when my dream was always to play for USC. I said, man, I'm going to be able to play for USC because we're ranked in Midget League football 6th or 8th. So after the season, we finally got a chance to play McKeesport in the playoffs, the Little Tigers, legendary Little Tigers. So we beat them, and that was a dream come true because my dad used to tell me how great they were. And so we made the playoffs, and we went to Detroit and played. We went to Kentucky and played. We went to Texas and played. And the unique thing is that we didn't stay in hotels. We stayed with, and I was the only black kid on the team. And we would stay with the players on the opposite team's houses. So I come in there and I used to wear the corn braids back in the day, you know, and sometimes I just have the afro out. And but
Do you need a pick?
Yeah, so they
need a pick for that?
seemed like they put all the jewelry and valuables away, but by the end of the session it was good. You know, everybody got a chance to, you know, talk to the black kid, or, you know, and I got to meet the white family or whatever. But
Good.
But the one thing is, it was always tough because the next day you'd have to play. So me and Chip end up being friends because I stayed with his parents, and then the next day, you know, we have to play against each other. But finally, which I didn't know at the time, we played in the Circus Bowl of Florida, and we won, which is the mythical national championship. So when I was 13 years old. So that's the fiction and fact from Smoking Jim Almanac. Gateway will return, buddy.
Smoking Jim, I appreciate everything you're saying, but I noticed no dates, no times.
I said when I was 13.
quick.
No years.
I was 13.
My phone's blowing.
Speaking of systems,
Hold it, I'm getting calls right now.
The coach from Clayton went to Gateway, and they lost a terrible football game, and it was a low-scoring affair.
Nonsense.
Those same Clayton Bears that he left and went to Gateway, they ran up the scoreboard. The California only accounted for 56 total yards in a 4-quarter game.
Sounds like the Blue Hens.
And got blown out by 70 plus
in Gateway's
points.
defense, you know, most of the team that they lost a lot of seniors last year. There weren't a lot of returning players from last year's
They'll be in the
squad.
playoffs this year, Gateway. And
Clayton.
Clayton got a black coach. Yay, Brother Wade.
That's my boy.
Yeah, mine too.
I'm glad.
Coach Wade!
I'm glad the Sandbox loves each other again now. It's
Hey,
all
Still
good.
Valley won too, so they're already off to a
Well,
better start.
the
than
nice
Gateway.
thing is we still didn't find any more details we knew about Smoking Jim, except what a great player he says he was. We can't verify any of these
There's
statements.
no tape.
All the people.
No
I see
footage.
little.
Great team.
I
It's all
see.
about the team.
I see little things that pop up on Facebook. Study Smoking Jim. You'll get to the bottom of this. Don't
I was
ask
that
the
Cal.
talking machine.
How's that call you? I didn't.
No comment. I was there too. I was there too. We made it right before the fight started. I swear to that.
Hey, in 2014, that's how far we've advanced the cause too. Let's do that too, going back.
Well, you
In
can get Z
2014,
time.
you
You
put-
get Z time.
in
We got
20
Chips time now. You'll get your time. You got Z time coming up. Hold that thought. You got some great thoughts over there. Write it down. Now we got Chips trivia time.
Thank you, Alan. And once again, I'm going to go into my baseball history
No,
book
this can't be
and pull
true.
out some gems that I've dug up. And today is September the 2nd. September 2nd is significant for two separate Hall of Famers who on September 2nd, 34 years apart, accomplished the same feat. And that would be Mr. Cub Ernie Banks and Cal Ripken Jr. On September the 2nd, 1965, Ernie Banks hit his 400th home run. And on September 2nd, 1999, Cal Ripken hit his 400th home run.
Wow.
So it's kind of unusual that
400 home
two
runs.
Hall of Famers accomplished the same feat on the same day, 34 years apart. I always have my my axe to grind about pitch counts and specialization in this era of one-inning pitchers and everything. Well, way back on August the 28th, 1926, Emil Lawson of the Cleveland Indians pitched two complete game victories over the Boston Red Sox, 6-1 and 5-1. He did not strike out a batter, and the Indians used the identical lineup in both games, and both games were played back-to-back. That's a pretty amazing feat, pitching two complete games.
With no strikeouts is more
No
amazing.
strikeouts, exactly. I know I brought up a fact several weeks back, and I brought up the 1951 New York Giants. The 1951 New York Giants, at that point in their journey, were 13 and a half games out of first place behind the Brooklyn Dodgers. Well, on August the 28th, 1951, the Pittsburgh Pirates defeated the New York Giants, snapping their 16-game winning streak, and they cut the Dodgers' leads from 13 and a half games to 6 games. More to come on that as we progress through the month.
I wonder what happens.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. August the 27th, 1978. One of the members of the Big Red Machine, Joe Morgan, accomplished something, and he was the first person in Major League Baseball history to do this. Joe Morgan hit his 200th home run to become the first player in Major League Baseball history to hit 200 home runs and steal 500 bases in his career. Think about all the people that played the game, and he was the first. August the 27th, 1982, Rickey Henderson broke into the record books, and he broke Lou Brock's stolen base record at 118 bases. He stole his 118th base, and then he stole 3 more. He ended up the game with 122 stolen bases in 127 attempts. That is an amazing statistic. This is a man that nobody was throwing out.
I got you. I don't want to leave you hanging over the phone there. You weren't old enough to see that.
I go to a lot of Pirate games, and this past weekend the Pirates have broken 2.1 million fans bought tickets to see them play so far this year. There are 9 home games left, and you figure with about 30,000 per game, just on an average, and I know a sellout's close to 40,000. The Pirates are probably going to set an attendance record this year, but that's not even going to come close to the National League attendance record that was set in 1993 by the Colorado Rockies. In 62 games, they drew 3.6 million fans. That's the National League record. The American League record and also Major League Baseball record belongs to the Toronto Blue Jays. They brought in 4,028,318 fans in one season. Came through the turnstiles. Wow. That is just absolutely unbelievable. But that's what you call a loyal fan base.
We could never do it, though. With if you do math,
you
40,000
do the math,
times
40,
80,
yeah,
81 games.
3.2 million, you're looking at about,
yeah, we can't even get close to that.
No, but
even if all your cousins go.
Well, that was back when they had the Sky Dome, and the Sky Dome was sitting 50,000.
Yeah,
they
makes a difference.
What they've gravitated with the baseball stadiums, and they did this. They modeled it after Fenway Park. Smaller crowds, you play to a packed house more frequently instead of playing to a half-empty stadium like they did at Three Rivers most of the time. September 1st, 1906, Philadelphia A's beat the Boston Red Sox 4-1 in 24 innings. Jack Coombs and Joe Harris pitched all 24 innings for each team. So each team didn't
That's
even use a
amazing in
relief
itself.
pitcher.
Did they strike anybody out?
I didn't get the statistics on that.
If you told me no strikeouts there.
September 1st, 1931, Lou Gehrig hit his third Grand Slam home run in 4 days,
impressive.
which is a record. And everybody's doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge for a disease that was
Almost.
named
Almost
after.
everybody.
Well,
Almost.
Oprah did it.
3/4.
Almost.
Oprah carried the cross.
I've got a couple more here. The next one involves a Pittsburgh Pirate great. On September 1st, 1975, Tom Seaver struck out Manny Sanguillen to become the first pitcher to strike out 200 batters in 8 consecutive seasons. That's
He must
that's
have been great.
that's the picture of
must have been
consistency.
great.
He was.
Well, you know what,
You should
Tom?
have seen the legs on him, the power he had.
They called him
Yeah.
Tom Terrific. He was one of the greatest pitchers of all time, and it's amazing because in the amazing Mets in 1969, 2 of the greatest strikeout pitchers have ever played baseball pitched on the same staff: Nolan Ryan and Tom Seaver.
Didn't Tom Seaver make underwear commercials? It didn't
No,
seem
that
like
was
he had
Jim
no-
Palmer.
He had no
He was
big
another
legs.
good
Didn't
pitcher.
seem like he
That
had
was
no
Jim
big
Palmer.
legs there.
Okay,
He
so
because it
You
wasn't
watch
him.
baseball?
That wasn't him. You're a baseball guy now.
Oh, you
baseball
white guys
historian,
look
though.
alike to me.
okay, August 31st, 1990. Another first in Major League Baseball history. The first time father and son ever got to play in the same game
Pete
on the
Rose
same
and Pete Rose
field.
Jr.
No, Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. They
You're not a
played,
true
they played as
baseball
father
fan.
and son for the Seattle Mariners. And last but not
I
least,
love Ken Griffey. Jr.
August 31st, 1959, Sandy Koufax set the National League strikeout record, struck out 18 batters in a game.
He was the greatest, I heard.
He was the greatest, and the sad thing about Sandy Koufax was his career was cut short by arthritis, and the things that ended his career, guys recover from and pitch very long careers.
And here's
now.
what his arms look like when he stretches out his left arm.
he was
You
one
see
of
the
the.
difference?
Yeah.
That's what happened when he
I
pitched.
remember watching him
Really?
pitch when I was a child, and he was one of the greatest left-handers ever to pitch in this
Yeah.
game.
So that's why you got gator arms.
Yep, his arm shrunk on that end. See? From pitching. Arthritis and everything. You can only take so much repetitive motion. Exactly. I keep telling you. And that's it. Thanks, Chip. Now we got Z time.
All right. Good job.
Make it-
know
we only
everybody
got
looks-
6 minutes and 56 seconds,
I
Z.
know everybody looks forward to it, especially
Not
for
me
watching at
anymore.
home.
I'm not looking forward to it. You tipped us off on everything you had on Z time.
Hey, like
What's
I
going to
said,
be new?
In 2014,
Go ahead.
you two gentlemen would not be left outside at a boxing event in 2014. Guaranteed. Regardless of me, you guys have done it, as well as I've done it, but you guys would get in on the strength of your own things,
Thanks,
no
Al.
matter what. But
Well,
I don't
if we
know
could
what
have
happened
broke a
down in
window,
Cal.
we would have got in. That lady was tough.
I don't know if Smoking Jim Fraser was fin through any windows, Levine. I mean, you got that sheen that you can slide through. But
No, Sheen, it's all natural.
I don't think GCJ, even in his prime, is
How about them Jerry
curls.
curls?
Crawling through any windows.
What's Z time about?
I'm
But
s-
thank you for your compliments.
I'm looking forward to wherever we decide to go on Monday. Hopefully, it's Duke's Sports Bar, wink, wink, in my backyard. Only for the sure fact that everybody knows my name and it'll only take me 2 minutes to get there. And I'll
That'll
never
probably
miss
be
a
the
Monday.
last place we try to go to. He just ruined it. If he didn't say that, he was in the running. There's one vote on this. I'll let you know who has it. Wink, wink.
Yeah, this is not a democracy.
Yeah, this is a true dictatorship.
Yeah, this is not a democracy.
Amen.
Well, Fidel.
Just like Adele.
Well, Fidel, not Goodell. We're gonna start calling you Fidel.
Fidel.
Fidel. I look forward to wherever we go. Hopefully, it's as fun and exciting as Sips has been. Sips has been really good to Pittsburgh Sports Line. I'm very sad that we all recently got inducted into a Hall of Fame that is going down in flames. So I look
Why
forward
would
to
you
being
bring
the
that
first
up?
one.
The trophy can go with
I look
us.
forward to being the first one to be in the Hall of Fame at the next place or places. And I want to give a shout out to Stevie Chambers. He got a really big fight coming up this weekend on September 6th. He's fighting Andre Berto, who's just every bit as lethal and dangerous as Danny Garcia was to Lightning Rod Solka. So I know Stevie's prepared, and I give a
And that
big
was a
shout
nice
out to
photo
Stevie.
that our exclusive photographer made with Rod Salka and Jason Bergman in the background with that. Sean was quite creative with that. Steve looks good. He should have a San Francisco hat on because I'd root for him a little stronger. He looks more powerful with the San Fran hat on.
Nobody ever looks more powerful without, Pittsburgh on your back or on your head or wherever you could put it. So
Oh, that's who he likes.
we
What are
got.
you doing?
Hey, listen. You can root for the San Francisco 49ers.
It's America.
But when you're in
It's
Pittsburgh,
America.
America, it's the Steel City, man. We got 6 of these, and that's something that the San Francisco
Amen.
49ers don't have.
Amen,
So
Zach. I
God
can
bless
see that.
America.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Definitely the Pittsburgh Steelers
And
too.
Stevie on
And
Saturday night. That's a heck of a fight. I
On
wish him luck.
Showtime.
Yeah.
On Showtime.
Stay tuned.
We'll be
And,
watching
and,
you,
and,
folks.
and one other thing, I just want to give a little shout out to somebody that I'm not going to wish happy birthday to, and that's Terry Bradshaw, because
Who?
the rotten bum didn't pay his respects to Chuck
Coach
Noll
Noll.
or his
Why would you
widow.
even mention? He's dead to me.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great football player, but he was.
It reminds me of somebody today.
He's a
Big
phony.
man.
Amen.
He's a phony.
Hey, listen.
He didn't
America,
pay his
we're
respect-
entitled to our
he didn't pay his
opinions.
respect to Chuck or his
2 cent
widow.
brains.
I think
As-
Big Ben will be
his
at Bill
widow.
Cowher's.
He didn't pay any respect to either.
Well, yeah, because he took care of them.
Hey, can we?
Yeah,
we
go
might
ahead.
want to make the predictions for
Yeah, we got it.
the
Sure.
season.
We got to get that
10
in.
and 6.
You
in
know
the
where
mix.
I'm at, 11 and 5. And we're waiting. Chip, you got to go before Smoking Jim because
10
he's
and
the
6.
NFL.
I'm saying 10 and 6, and that will win the North Division.
I went back through, like Al Levine said. I mean, easy schedule. 5-1 right off the bat. Cleveland, Tampa Bay, Carolina, Jacksonville, the Browns, Houston. They'll be 6-1 before you blink. 8-8.
Because they're not.
Great.
Okay, thank you. If I don't hear that phrase a
Don't
100 more
hate.
times,
Is that how many
great.
sacks? Is that how
Don't
many
hate.
sacks Jarvis
8-8.
Jones and Ryan
They're not
Shazier
great.
gonna get? 8
10 and 6. We're in the mix.
11 and 5, we ain't taking no dive.
Well, you know what?
Champions.
Now, you know what? If you think about this, you look at what who the Steelers aren't playing this year. You know, you got the Bengals. The Bengals have to play the Patriots. They have to play the Broncos in their home stadiums. We're not playing either of them. The Baltimore Ravens are playing New Orleans and who else are we playing?
We're playing New Orleans.
Yeah, but we're playing them here. They're playing them at their home.
Oh, okay.
See, they're playing the two that we're playing here. They're playing at the road, which is a huge advantage playing in your own backyard.
Little Rooney rule.
No,
kick
sometimes
out.
there's called payback, Smoking
You
Jim, in
know.
a good way.
Yep.
But
You
I
just
mean,
have
the
to wait
way
long
the
enough.
schedule is now. That all being said, last year everybody said that the Steelers are going to be 1-0 after we played the Tennessee Titans. Well, they played the game.
That's cool. That's cool.
And I'll tell you
that's
the
true.
thing that frightens me: the Steelers are 6.5 point favorites this weekend. I still think the Steelers are going to win. Take the Browns and the money.
Really?
Take the Browns.
Now,
and the
these are
points.
friendly bets. I don't condone gambling
Take the
unless
Browns
you
and the
talk to a
points.
professional.
We'll beat
Unless
them by a
Johnny
field
Football
goal.
gets on the field and then
All bets are off.
Johnny Football is going to be a bust. The same way Terrell Pryor is a bust. The same way that
I
Tim
got more
Tebow
faith.
is a bust.
I got
he's not
more
a
faith.
He's not an
got
NFL
more
quarterback.
faith
He's
in
never going to
Johnny
be an
Manziel.
NFL
All
quarterback.
right, 1
Johnny
minute to
Football.
go.
That's all I got to
1
say
minute
about
to
that.
go on this
Johnny
show.
Football.
Zach Brenner, what else do you got here? We'll go down the lineup.
Looking forward to a big fight coming up in November. Lightning Rod Soccer. We'll have more to come. You're going to have to tune in to get the inside scoop on that. Sammy Vasquez.
We know November 14th for sure.
Well, there you go, Levine.
I got the scoop for you. Talk to Mike Tyson. I like Mike. Smoking Jim, what's happening here?
Hey, I said before Terrell Pryor should have stayed in Oakland for the Oakland Raiders. They benched Matt Schaub this week for caught in the headlights their car. So
Thanks,
He's a
Smoking
rookie.
Jim. Anything, Chip, you got going on? Want to say goodbye or good night?
Nope, I'm just going to wish myself a happy birthday Saturday.
That's right.
54 years
September
young.
6th.
no way you're
Yes,
54.
54
Happy
years young.
birthday, Chip, and-
September 6, 1960.
Enjoy that.
Check
And
the record.
God bless
thanks,
America.
everybody. Thanks, Dave Cable, Devin Shea, John the Tiger Kiger, all the folks watching us. We appreciate it. Great feedback. And if you want us to be at your bar or restaurant, give me a call. Al Levine, the Talking Machine. We'll see all comers here, so we stay out of here.